Welcome back to Street TV. I'm Alonso, and I'm here with an Eric Holder trial update after the 5th day of testimony. And let's get right into it. What I'm going to do is going to give you an overview of what happened today on day 5, and I'm going to take some questions from anyone that wants to ask questions about what happened on day 5 or day 4. I didn't do an update on day 4. But today was day 5 of testimony in the Eric Holder case. And I'm going to give just a quick rundown of what happened on day 5. And then I'll answer any of the questions you have about the Eric Holder trial in the chat. The chat is going. All right, we got the live chat going. So first witness for today, day 5 of testimony, was a criminalist from the LAPD named Monica Hwang, H-W-A-N-G. And she's basically a ballistics expert. And the main thing she testified was about there were 8 casings that were found on the ground right where Eric Holder shot and killed Nipsey Hussle. She examined all of those 8 casings under a microscope, and she determined that all 8 casings came from the same gun, which is what we were expecting, right? So that's what she came to testify about. And then under cross-examination, attorney Aaron Jansen asked her a very important question about, did you know that you was examining evidence that was connected to the Nipsey Hussle killing? And she testified that she did have prior knowledge that this evidence was connected to that shooting. And then Jansen asked under cross-examination, isn't it better to do these analyses blindly, meaning not knowing who's attached or who's connected to a case? And she basically said that in her experience, her work hasn't been compromised, having prior information about who's involved in the case. But as a scientist, it is definitely, I'm gonna have to agree with Attorney Jansen on that. As a scientist, you don't want to know who's involved in a particular case. You don't want to know who the victims are, who the suspects are. You want to know that the conclusions derived in this report were done so blindly. And in this instance, it wasn't. I don't think it's a big deal in this particular case, but generally speaking, you do want to go into scientific analyses without having all that additional information. So after Monica Hwang testified, Ryan Sauls, he's a LA County Sheriff's deputy out of the Lakewood station. He was witness number 14, and he testified that he was the one that took Eric Holder into custody. He testified that he received a phone call at about 1 p.m. to pull up at the address at 9901 Artesia Boulevard in Bellflower. Him and his partner pulled up. They actually parked about 1 building away. They had information that this guy was armed and dangerous. And then as they were en route to take Eric Holder into custody, they had got additional information that Eric Holder was now outside waiting for them. So I guess when they first got the call came in, Eric Holder is inside the facility. The guy that killed Nipsey Hussle, he's here and he's ready to turn himself in. Then he walked outside prior to the sheriff deputies pulling up. And then when they pulled up, they drew their weapons, told them to get to the ground, took him into custody without incident. So cross-examination, and that was all under direct by John McKinney. And then on cross-examination by Aaron Jansen, let's see. The main thing that the defense wanted to emphasize was that Eric Holder was completely cooperative, put up no resistance, complied to all the demands by the sheriff deputy, by Deputy Sauls and his partner, and was taken into custody without incident. So that was pretty much for Deputy Sauls. Then the next person to testify was Refugio Garza, R-E-F-U-G-I-O, Garza with a Z. I have him as witness 15, and he is a detective with the LAPD. So once the sheriff's deputies in Lakewood took Eric Holder into custody, Sauls also testified that they contacted the LAPD and they said, we got Eric Holder in custody. And now Deputy Garza and his partner traveled over to Bellflower, which if you're from LA, you know Bellflower's not that far. It's right next to Long Beach. And the LAPD went to the Lakewood station and took him into custody and then drove him back to the city of LA to 77th Division of the LAPD. And on cross-examination, I thought it was very interesting that Attorney Jansen asked Detective Garza if he was the one that leaked Eric Holder's name to the media. He said no, and then he asked him, did he leak the information about Miss Nicholson's car to the media? He said no. And basically, Detective Garza testified that they drove Eric Holder from the Lakewood station to the LAPD 77th Division using 2 vehicles, and he was in the trailing vehicle during the transport. And also, the clothes that Eric Holder was wearing was taken off of him while he was arrested at the Lakewood station, booked into evidence in a separate box. And Detective Garza testified that he secured the box and also took that to the 77th Division. And we saw photographs of all the clothes that Eric Holder had when he was arrested, from the bandana around the neck, which is the same bandana he was wearing when he shot Nip. What else? The red shirt. We believe it's the same red shirt he was wearing. Some pants, some white shoes, and that's about it. And then after Detective Garza testified, we were supposed to be getting testimony from Rimpau. Apparently, they subpoenaed Rimpau. They served Rimpau with a subpoena yesterday, and they ordered him to show up in court today, and he was a no-show. So after Detective Garza finished his testimony, finished the direct, finished the cross, the judge took a break, told the juror to take a break. This happened at 10:55 a.m. And then because there's no Rimpau, and the coroner was scheduled to go up next, but the coroner was scheduled to testify after lunch, the defense attorney and the prosecutor and the judge all agreed, let's break early and come back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., hoping to, I guess, drag Rimpau into court. So that's pretty much what happened on day 5 of testimony. And I'll take some questions. What do you guys have here? Oh, there goes Spider. What's up? He's going to be on FOF. Is that right? You talking about Rimpau? Are you talking about Rimpau? Man, that's crazy. Let's do it. You know, I'm going to do it. Hey, let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight while everybody's looking for him. That would be incredible. What questions you got? And I'm serious. If you know, I'm here to shoot Spider's episodes anytime you want. But what questions do I have? So they're gonna DP Rimpau? Man, I don't know anything about that. So I'm gonna take some questions about the case. I didn't really give an update on day 4. I plan on doing a separate video and I'll upload that later this week on day 4. So he will be there tomorrow or he will be in jail. So basically what happened was he was issued a body attachment and or bench warrant for his arrest. That's Rimpau. His name's Evan McKenzie. So now there's a bench warrant that was issued for Evan McKenzie sometime around 11 a.m. today. So he will be held in contempt. He will have to go to jail if he doesn't show up. So I don't know. I understand that Rimpau doesn't want any part of this. You know, I can completely understand that he doesn't want to be a part of this. And sometimes I feel like an individual's desire not to testify in court should be respected by the court. It should be respected by the judge, by law enforcement. But they want him there so bad that they're going to force him to do it. And I can tell you, if he shows up in court by force, he's not going to answer any questions. He's going to say, I don't remember. I don't know. I don't recall. So it's almost wasting his time, wasting the court's time, wasting the jurors' time. They already got Cowboy to pretty much testify. They also got the young lady, Miss Nicholson, Brynnitta, to testify. So we got a good sense of what happened in that conversation. I know there's a lot of gaps, there's a lot of holes of what happened between Eric Holder and Nipsey Hussle, and Rimpau probably can fill in those gaps and fill in them holes, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do it, and it's unfortunate that the state is forcing him to do it. And that's the latest. That's the latest on Rimpau. No autopsy photos yet. No, the coroner was scheduled to testify at 1:30 today, but because the last detective finished testifying around, it was about 10:55 a.m. Let me see. That was, yeah, Detective Garza was done by 10:55 a.m. And since they had no Rimpau, they didn't want to wait till 1:30 for the coroner to testify. So we're going to get the coroner tomorrow for sure. I don't know if he's going in the morning or afternoon, but the coroner will testify tomorrow for sure. Rimpau gonna lay low. Yeah, Rimpau gonna lay low. I mean, I could respect that. I gotta respect that, you know. He doesn't want to come testify. It's just simple as that. How many lawyers he had so far? I'm not sure what you mean. How could Brynnitta think Eric Holder was going to buy a t-shirt from Nip store when she had to give him money for food? I don't think there was ever any evidence about Eric Holder going to buy a t-shirt from the store. And I haven't missed, the only testimony I missed might have been like going to the bathroom for about a minute or two. But I don't recall, I could be mistaken, but I don't recall any evidence that came out that Eric Holder was going to go buy a shirt from the store. So, unaware of that. Somebody put here, the stop snitching shit is ridiculous. I think the stop snitching shit is ridiculous for anybody who ain't from the streets, which is the majority of the population, right? I would say like 98% of American society knows nothing about the streets. The streets is for a very small group of people, you know. That group of people could be like 1% of the population. And that's where these rules and these codes and all of that emerge from. So I can understand that a majority of society does not understand some of these codes. But what's crazy is that snitching is not really just a street thing. This is something that we learn as little kids, right? If you have siblings, your own parent might have told you, don't tattletale. Why are you tattletaling on your brother or your sister? This is an American thing as well. Also, law enforcement. Do you think police will tell on another cop when a cop is doing wrong, when a cop is committing crimes? No, the culture of policing is don't snitch either. And even when you get into the business world, into corporate America, they call it whistleblowers. There's all these different terms that all mean the same thing, whether it's tattletaling, whether it's paperwork, whether it's whistleblowing. It is something that is prevalent not only in the streets, but in all aspects of American society. So I'm surprised that whoever left that comment doesn't understand that some people really, stick to that code. How did Eric Holder get into Brynnitta's car shirtless with 2 guns and she didn't see the guns? You ever heard of bags or backpacks or other types of carrying things? My goodness. I mean, I could come up with that one. I mean, where do you think his shirt was at? He had a shirt, he had to change the clothes, so he had to have it in something else. Whistleblowers are snitches. Whistleblowers are snitches. Definitely, they are. But we have all these different terms. We use them. Corporate America doesn't use the word snitch. They use whistleblowers. And I'm letting everybody know that after the 1 hour point, I'm going to get off of here because I got to do some other stuff. And I'm going to do a quick interview for AGTV. Go tap into AGTV. I'm going to do a little interview over there. And do some other work. What else we got here, people? How long is the trial expected to last? Let me check, because I'll give you a quick estimate of what I think is going to happen here. So tomorrow we're going to have the coroner, and then I very doubt that Rimpau is going to show up. But if he does show up, that's going to take some time. And I believe after the coroner, after Rimpau, if he comes, then the prosecution is going to close its case. And then it's going to go over to the defense. I do believe the defense is going to recall Cowboy. So we're not done with Cowboy. Cowboy will be testifying some more in this case. He's going to be recalled by the defense. And also the defense is going to put up a gang expert. And that gang expert is going to talk about the implications of being accused of a snitch and what that means in the streets. So basically, there's only about 3 witnesses left that I know of. There might be 4. And that could wrap up by tomorrow. Now, there's no court on Friday, so I can see this case finishing up tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Monday for sure, and it'll go to the jury at that point. That opening statement from the defense was crazy. Why is there a trial? There's a trial. Let me explain something to some people. I don't know like where people are from when they say, why is there a trial? The reason there's a trial, because in the American justice system, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. This is not China. This is not North Korea. This is not Russia. When they think you did something wrong, they just put you in jail. And that's one beautiful thing about the American justice system, is that the burden of proof is on the prosecution. So that means everyone is entitled to a trial so that you can face your accusers. And we literally got to see that in this case. Eric Holder got to face Cowboy while he was on the stand. So you get to face your accusers in this country. And there's a lot of other countries that do it the same way. So I think that's very important. We shouldn't kind of minimize, why is there a trial? I mean, it's a fundamental right in this country. Everybody's entitled to it if you're facing a crime. So I just think that type of question is ridiculous. I don't know if you're a kid. I don't know if you're 10 years old. I don't know if you're 50 years old, but you're entitled to a trial. And always remember, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. Yes, Don Fallon McKnight. It is called due process. And I don't know if you live in China or North Korea, but that due process is very important here in the United States of America. So, I mean, even someone like Eric Holder that shot and killed our beloved Nipsey on camera in front of everyone, he's entitled to a trial as well. Looks like the camera's a little bit out of focus. I thought I had this on autofocus. All right, what else we got here? Was Holder high during the incident? I don't even know if they did any sort of analysis. I don't think so. Do I think that Nipsey Hussle died in vain due to the fact that Eric Holder was absolutely no paperwork of snitching on him? Hey, if it turns out that there is no paperwork of Eric Holder and that was just a pure rumor, man, it is going to be, it is going to be kind of devastating to think that that's what young brother died over, Let me also add that something interesting that happened on day 4. Let me see, day 4, which was the second day that Brynnitta Nicholson testified. Because this whole trial is about that conversation between Nipsey and Eric Holder. And that conversation lasted roughly 4 minutes. And Brynnitta Nicholson, when she went over there to take that selfie photo with Nipsey, she heard roughly about 55 seconds, 53, almost a minute of that conversation. And she says that the conversation was tense, which goes against what Cowboy was saying. She said there was some tension, and she said Nipsey's body language was like, get out of here. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. And she also said that Eric Holder called Nipsey Hussle a snitch, which I thought was interesting because I don't think we've ever really, well, if you read the grand jury transcript, that's exactly what it says. But I always thought that was a typo because we've seen the reports where it was Nipsey accusing Eric Holder of snitching, but she's saying that Eric Holder was calling Nipsey a snitch. So when I read that in the grand jury transcript 3 years ago, I kind of forgot about it. But she said that in court yesterday on day 4. But she also said that Eric Holder said to Nipsey, "So you're calling me a snitch?" So it's a lot of confusion of who called who what, but it was definitely a conversation about snitching and telling and paperwork. That we know. Cowboy testifying. Come on, I think everybody already knows that. He testified on day 1 and day 2 of the trial, and he will be testifying again under recall when the case is in the hands of the defense. Talk about the body cam, that first officer on the scene. Okay, that the first officer on the scene, I don't know if he's the first officer, but he had the best angle. And I'm not sure, he testified on day 4 of the case. And let me see if I have his name here. But that camera angle from that body cam, that was an LAPD officer body cam. That camera angle shows Nipsey's brother, Blacc Sam, giving him chest compressions and trying to save his life. But I'm gonna do a separate video on day 4 of testimony. I'm not gonna do a live on that, and I'll go into the officer that wore that body cam. Was Cowboy going? What was? I don't know. Have I ever met Raymond Potts? And if he ever said he would do an interview with you in the past. I don't think I ever met Raymond Potts. Cowboy can still walk the main line. What else y'all got? Are they going to release another camera angle? No, they're not going to release another camera angle. Well, they've released a few camera angles. So for the last 3 years, we've only seen one camera angle, which is from the Shell gas station. So they've made all the camera angles that they have public now. There is the camera angle from 58th Place that shows the alley where Brynnitta and Eric drive out of. There is another Shell gas station camera that shows the alley where you see Eric Holder walking back and forth from. That's another angle that was released. I mean, these are all angles that we've never seen. Of course, the Master Burger angle, nobody knew what that angle was going to show. No one knew about that angle. And that basically shows the lobby and it shows the sidewalk, and you can see people walking back and forth in front of the Master Burger. That was recently published. And what else? That's it. 2 camera angles from the house pointing to the alley. The 3 camera angles from the Shell gas station. One was already, one was already on the internet. The 1 angle from Master Burger, that's 6 cameras. And then the body worn camera from the LAPD officer, I don't believe that had ever been seen before. Someone can correct me on that. So that's it. There is no other camera angles. Are those angles going to be released to the general public? Yes. I'm going to get all those angles and I'll post them up on StreetTV after the trial's over. You got to wait till the trial's over before they become officially public. From what you know, what's the real beef between Blacc Sam and Cowboy? I don't know anything about a beef between them. So the main camera footage is missing. I don't know what you mean by the main camera footage. Oh, there was another camera angle. I'm sorry. Ingrid Caston. She was sitting in her car recording like this while she was eating some food of Nipsey, Rimpau, and Cowboy moments before Eric Holder comes and shoots. When Eric comes and shoots, she's not recording at that time, but she has a 2-minute video of all 3 of them just, chilling, hanging out. But while she's doing the video, she's also eating food in the car. So that's another camera angle. And I think that's all of it, but I'm going to go over everything and do more detailed videos on the different days of testimony. Especially, I'm going to do one for day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. Today is the day 5 video. So Cowboy said everything he knows about a murderer. Okay. Nipsey had a camera in front of the marathon. Well, every time you see a camera posted up at a building, it doesn't mean that it's connected to a DVR and that it's functioning. So if that camera was working and that's the Marathon Store camera, they would have obviously got that footage. There were 2 detectives that testified about retrieving camera footage. And if that footage was there, if that camera was working, they would have got it. So apparently that one doesn't exist. Alex, do you get annoyed with the conspiracy theorists? Oh man, Southern California. Does it sound like I get annoyed with the conspiracy theorists? I don't know what the proper adjective is to say about these conspiracy theorists, because I don't want to censor anyone's free expression. Hey, if you think this is a conspiracy at the highest level of America, more power to you. If you think the LAPD, if you really think the LAPD was involved in this killing, more power to you. If you think that other people other than Eric Holder was involved in this homicide, more power to you. But after 3 years of evidence gathering, after so far, 15 witnesses testified. What number did I say we were on? After all these witnesses testifying, Detective Garza was witness 15. After all the technology that's available to us, none of these conspiracies hold any weight. None of them. So, more power to them. And most of these conspiracy theorists are not from the land. They're not from here. They're not from LA. They're not from Cali. All of these conspiracy theorists are out-of-towners. So they have a different perspective of this whole case than somebody that's born and bred here in the land. People that I know, that I speak to all the time, they call it what it is. But, You know, I got a few phone calls from people from Washington, D.C., Houston, Texas. Everyone believes that it's something more than what it is. So more power to them. Let them have their channels. Let them promote their theories. You know, 10, 20 years from now, their kids will watch them and say, see how ridiculous they look. Has Stutterbox gotten with you about a new interview? Yeah, Austin, Texas. I'm going to get with Stutterbox real soon. We're going to do another interview. LAPD is one of the most dirty cops ever. I mean, I definitely agree that there's a lot of dirty cops within these police departments. And, you know, I am all for a good conspiracy. I will support a well-formulated conspiracy. But in this situation, there's nothing well-formulated whatsoever. And trust me, I'm the police critic. How many of y'all, when I testify for the defense in gang cases, I am testifying against the police. You know, I am testifying against the state, against the government. So I am one that will be willing to entertain a well-formulated theory, conspiracy theory, you know, if it is well-formulated. But nothing has been well-formulated in this Nipsey Hussle thing. And what's interesting is that all these conspiracy theorists have their own theory. They're not even consistent themselves. They don't even have one clear, cohesive conspiracy theory. They're just all over the place. So what else we got here? Cowboy should have did what Rimpau did. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Hey, Cowboy kept it real on the stand. He admitted what he was doing is snitching. You know, one thing about snitches and informants that really get to me are the ones that deny it, the ones that said they didn't do it. I think those type of informants and snitches are the most dangerous kind. But when a guy says, yeah, I did that, yeah, I own that, yeah, that was me, okay, cool. But the one that's we already know told, we already know informed, and is sitting there denying it, that really kind of gets under my skin. So y'all can be mad at Cowboy all you want, but he knew what he knew the storm that he was walking into, and he was willing to do it. So Cowboy, cuz on the prosecution team. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Cowboy is definitely on the prosecution team. He is there as a friendly witness for the prosecution, whereas Shermi Villanueva and cousin Carrie Latham, you could tell they were not witnesses friendly to the prosecution. They did not want to be there. But when Cowboy was testifying, you could tell he was there for the prosecution, and he was there to downplay. Not only was he there for the prosecution, he's downplaying any tension that occurred in that conversation between Nipsey Hussle and Eric Holder, which is what this whole case is about. So he is definitely team prosecution. What else we got here? And I know Spider Loc is going to be on his head. Spider Loc is going to be on Cowboy's head for real. I assume Eric counsel advised him not to testify. You know, we never find out if the defendant is going to testify until that moment comes. You know, there's probably a 95% chance that Eric Holder does not testify. He does not testify in this case. I don't want to say 100% because there's always that small chance that a defendant wants to do it. You know, if Eric Holder is adamant about telling his side, even his defense attorney can't stop him. So, but we're not privy to those conversations, so we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. Can Holder get the death sentence if convicted? No, he cannot get the death penalty because they didn't file this as a special circumstance case. And this was done under, actually, he was arrested under Jackie Lacey's watch as a Los Angeles district attorney. But no, it didn't get filed as a special cert case, so it's not a death penalty. It definitely carries an L. You can get an L if he's found guilty of the first-degree murder and the 2 first-degree attempted murders. Cowboy acting like a master splinter. That's messed up. He should have gotten the death penalty. Well, if you believe in the death penalty and you support the death penalty, you know, I can understand that. What else we got here? I'm gonna do about 20 more minutes, and I'm gonna get up out of here, and I'll come back on tomorrow after day 6. Everyone wants to know, is Rimpau going? Are they going to find Rimpau? I think the police messed up when they served him that subpoena yesterday. They should have been smart enough to know he was not going to show up today. But I guess they felt like, hey, now he's under subpoena, he's got to come. You ain't got to come. You can violate the order, which is what he did. He violated the order. Violating a subpoena order is not like a super serious crime, you know, but I don't know what his arrest past is like. But does anyone know what a contempt of court, how much time that carries? What is that, like 6 months, 180 days to a year? Definitely less than a year. So you got to feel comfortable about going to jail for at least a year if you don't want to testify. You know, you gotta own that. You gotta own, you know, lock me up for a year. And most likely you're not even gonna do a whole year. Somebody said 10 days. Nah, he would do more than 10 days. The judge ain't gonna let him off that easy. 10 days for violating my court order in a big trial like this. Nah, he gonna hold him a couple, at least someone else says here 4 months. I can see 4 months. Contempt is like 5 or 10 days per violation. Well, I know a girl that went to jail for 6 months for contempt. I don't know if she did the 6 months, but that's what the sentence was. Kim did 3 years for not testifying. No, Kim got sentenced to 1 year in the feds. Alex, what if he tried to fade you at the courthouse? What if who tried to fade me? What if who tried to fade me? Kim was for perjury. Yeah, Kim was for perjury. Will you be attending the grand opening of the new Marathon store on Melrose? I would love to attend it, you know. Maybe. Should they put a GPS monitor on Rimpau when they served him a subpoena? I don't think the state has the right to put a GPS monitor on you just because they're serving you a subpoena. So I think GPS monitors are reserved for people who have already been convicted of a crime and they're on parole or probation. You just can't put a GPS. Again, we're not in China. We're not in North Korea. We're supposed to be in the land of the free. I know it ain't always free, but we're in the land of the free. And you can't just be slapping GPS monitors on people you want to show up to court. I hope we never get at that point where I'm gonna slap a GPS monitor on you. Now, if you're on parole or something, that's different. He said anybody have something to say outside the courthouse, ready for all the smoke? All right, any other questions, man? What's going on? I see spiders in the house, but Cowboy the Rat can go to the 60s. Imagine that. That's what Spider just said. I know Spider's gonna be on Cowboy's head, just like he was on T.I.'s head. So what do you guys think? You think they're gonna find Rimpau? You think they're gonna find him? They're looking for him right now. You know, they're looking for him right now, and they found him yesterday. Oh, when them San Diego interviews dropping, I gotta drop them San Diego interviews like now. I'm gonna drop them. Alex for president, Mr. Zane. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I know I get a lot of love here in LA, but some of these out of towners are they're off the chain. These out of towners. So let me do a quick survey. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you believe there's a conspiracy that's beyond Eric Holder as being the killer. Or give me a thumbs down if you reject all that BS. Thumbs up if you believe in a conspiracy. Thumbs down if you don't believe in a conspiracy other than what it is that Eric Holder was the gun. So thumbs up if you believe in a higher conspiracy. Thumbs down if you don't. Okay, oh shit, we got some thumbs up. We got some thumbs down. Uh-oh. I'm gonna go back after we finish this live and do that survey. I think thumbs down is winning though. Thumbs down is winning. So it's deeper than snitching. Lefty said it's deeper than snitching. Then what is it then? What is it? People don't understand how triggering being called a snitch on these streets of Los Angeles can be. And not just Los Angeles. I know there's some other cities that adhere to the same protocol. You get in somebody's face and you say anything that alludes to your telling, that can have huge ramifications that I think the general public just does not understand. It don't matter if you Nipsey Hussle or if you just, a regular cat from the hood. I ain't mad at Cowboy. He spoke up on behalf of his friend. That's 100. Yeah, I ain't gonna be mad at Cowboy either. I know Spider might disagree with that, but I'm calling it what it is, though. It is what it is. He told. He told. And he'll be back in court. He'll be back in court on what they call recall. He's being recalled back to court. All right, we're at the 43-minute point. I'm going to do about 15 more minutes, and I'm out of here. So I'll take some more questions, and then I'll leave this video up. For anyone that just jumped in the room, I recapped day 5 of testimony, which was today, Wednesday, June 22nd. Today was the 5th day of testimony, and Rimpau was supposed to show up. We didn't even know that we learned today that they served him a subpoena yesterday, Tuesday, and ordered him to show in court. He didn't show up, so now there's a warrant for his arrest. So, and what's interesting, both the prosecution, John McKinney, and the defense, Aaron Jansen, they want Rimpau to come to court. Usually one side is favoring a witness over the other side, but both sides in this case want Rimpau to come to court. So, and there's a lot that he knows, obviously. He's one of the few guys that was privy to that conversation other than Cowboy. What else we got here? AKA Mr. Do the Dash. Hey, look, you guys got to check out Streets and Scholars podcast, episode 19. It's going to drop early Thursday morning. We talked about this idea of running, because both Shermi Villanueva and Rimpau ran, but FG and myself, we talk about this. I don't want to give any of it away right here. So you guys got to tap into episode 19 of Streets and Scholars. We talked about this whole case for most of the episode. We did, I think, a little over an hour, and most of episode 19 is devoted to this case. And we talked about this idea of running and how should we treat that. So I don't want to get into it here. Save that for episode 19, Streets and Scholars, FG and Alex. Go make sure you tap into that. He's a runner. He's a track star. Y'all are crazy. Damn. What else we got here? If I miss a question, just throw it in there again. This thing is going a little too fast for my eyes. Okay, let's see. Whatever happened to that other podcast, there's proof that only the strong. Oh man, I'm not sure what that question is. He's not snitching though. He's not snitching though. Address the 1 o'clock hour testimony by Cowboy. How Nip tweeted 252. Discrepancy. You address it. You address it. What does that mean? What does that mean? What did he snitch on? How did Blacc Sam get there so quick? That's a great question, because Blacc Sam wasn't even there. And when you look at that LAPD body cam footage, he's there. And I think he gave an interview to the LA Times saying that he was at a grandmother's house or some family member's house. I mean, it was in the area. It wasn't too far, but nevertheless, he got there fast. And of course, he's there for his brother, man. He's there for his brother. So he probably moved that day. He probably moved faster than he ever moved in his life. Got a Blacc Sam conspiracy? Nipsey would have been paralyzed if he would have lived. That is true. We'll find out more about that when the coroner testifies tomorrow on day 6. The coroner will testify tomorrow on day 6. We'll be on here for about 9 more minutes, people. Cowboy testified about the nature of the conversation, nothing that cameras didn't. Well, actually, the cameras don't tell you. There's no audio on the cameras, so that's why Cowboy's testimony is important, because he's providing the audio for the conversation that we're looking at, and we're getting that from both Brynnitta and Cowboy, and of course the court is trying to get that from Rimpau also. So can you hear my gardener outside? Is he making too much noise? I gotta remember, every Thursday is damn gardener, and he comes right in the middle of something. I might have to cut this short because I don't want. Tell me if this gardener in the background is sounding. Is it disruptive? What courthouse is it in? The trial is in the criminal courts building in downtown Los Angeles on 210 West Temple. Hold on one quick second. Yeah, the courthouse is on downtown LA. It used to be called Criminal Courts Building, CCB, but in recent years they're calling it Clara Shortridge Fultz. Clara Shortridge Fultz Courthouse. Same courthouse that O.J. Simpson had his trial. Snoop Dogg, Todd Bridges, Kyle and Lyle Menendez, Richard Ramirez, same courthouse. How'd the getaway girl not know he was involved when it was a huge on the news really fast? I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna do a video about Brynnitta's testimony, and hopefully that'll shed some more light on how naive she was, and you know, it's about the LA streets. If you're from the streets, you know, how many people have ever gotten into your car with drugs and you didn't know it? Or how many people have gotten into your car with a gun and you didn't know it? Most of us here in LA, we all have a crazy story of somebody getting in our car and they got a whole bunch of drugs, or they got a couple of pistols and they didn't say anything. It's no different here. You know, he got into her car with a couple of pistols and she didn't know. But I'll do something more in detail about Brynnitta's testimony and how the police, you know, man, if you want to get investigated that thoroughly, like she was investigated, then you'll realize they ruled her out. Because trust me, the detectives, they got a cell to put her in if they felt like she was involved. Didn't Brynnitta say that she saw Shitty Cuz with only one gun? Well, I'm only going by the testimony in this case. She did say she saw him with one gun after he got back into the car and they drove around the corner. She saw him loading it. And he was loading the semi-automatic weapon. He also had a revolver. Alex, can you please speak on the back in the day shit before snitching? Cowboy needs to stop interviewing. Hey, Cowboy did a live at the courthouse. He did a live talking a lot of mess, mostly about Eric Holder. And they played that live during his second day of testimony. So I know that the prosecutor went over to Cowboy and said, hey, dude, can you stop doing these lives until this trial is over? And I don't know if he's still doing them, but that was last Thursday. Cowboy was on Snitch House today. You talking about Clubhouse? Alex, you think he would have a chance with an insanity plea? Insanity pleas in the state of California are very difficult to come by. His best chance is what the defense attorney is doing right now and trying to get the first-degree murder reduced down to a manslaughter. When was the last time you heard of a judge allowing an insanity plea? It ain't gonna happen. You know, they're not gonna give insanity to a person that walked into Master Burger, ordered some chili cheese fries, went back to the car, asked Brynnitta for a couple more dollars. You know, all the normal stuff that's going on around him is not going to let a judge claim he's insane. You got to have some insane. You got to be like Brigante from the Mafia crime family, Vinny the Chin Brigante. I think he tried to do the insanity plea, but he tried to live an insane life. You know, walking around the streets in his pajamas, mumbling to himself. You know, Eric Holder doesn't have any of that. So this is the best defense that he can get. 9th floor, Department 104 is correct. All right, I'm going to go off in about 4 more minutes. So any other questions? Is Holder's relative in the court? No relatives are in the court that I know of. I know that Eric Holder doesn't have any family that's coming to court, and I don't think Nipsey Hussle has any family in the court. I do think there is this one person that might be kind of like connected to the family that comes to the court, but I can't confirm it. I actually hadn't had a chance to talk to him, but I pretty much talked to oh, here's an interesting thing. The media, first day, opening statements. The front row has 11 seats. I was able to get the first seat. And then there was more media that had to spill over into the second row. I believe there was about 4 or 5 more. So that's like 16 journalists that are there for this opening statements. Take a guess how many media was in court today. Take a guess how much media was in court today. Throw a number in there. We had about 16, 17 journalists in court today on opening statements today. Well, it can't be 0. I was there. Can't be 0. And then I'll tell you the number, and I'll tell you all the media that was there. But we started with about 15, 16. I don't remember if there was some more that spilled over into the second row. But I remember when we walked in, the first 11, there were still about 4 or 5 or 6 on standby, and eventually they were all able to come in. Somebody said 36. That's how many? 5. Anyone want to take a guess? Take a guess of which 5 media platforms were there. We know StreetTV was there, so there's one. Do I have my media pass here? Oh, here's my media pass. We know StreetTV was there. But then who were the other 4? No, there was only 5. Only 5 were there today. And I can tell you that none of the local television stations were there. Not one single local television station was there. Court TV was there. There goes one. TMZ was not there. They were there during the opening statements, but today, day 5 of testimony, and even day 4, this is important testimony. You got Brynnitta testifying, and today was important. So you had Court TV, you had me. Who else? Oh, KCAL wasn't there. There were no local television LA media there. All right, I'll run them by for you real quick. You had Court TV, you had the City News Service, you had the LA Times, you had StreetTV, and you had the Final Call. Sister Charlene from the Final Call. Those are your 5 journalists that were in court today, and that was it. And it's a little disappointing that there's not more coverage on this case. Fox was not there. LA Times was there. LA Times, the writer for LA Times was there. And the young lady from Court TV, she's really nice. I've been chopping it up with her. And of course, Sister Charlene from the Final Call, very nice. The lady from City News Service, she's been around for years. She's in there I don't think she's gonna miss a day. But really, where's the rest of the media? Where's KCAL News? Where's Fox News? Where's, all these other LA platforms? They were not there. All right, one more question. One more good question, and then I'm out of here. Give me one more good question. You might ask, where are other platforms? Well, see, some of these other platforms, they're not journalists. They're not journalists, they're not filmmakers. They're content creators, and there's a difference. Content creators aren't out here investing of their time and effort on one particular story, and that's what journalists do. So you don't even have to ask where are these people, because that's not what they do. They don't cover stories in this way. All right. Thanks for tapping in with StreetTV. Make sure you tap in with the Streets and Scholars podcast. Episode 19 will be dropping Thursday morning, where we devote a lot of conversation about the Nipsey Hussle trial. So check out FG and myself. And I'll be back for another live tomorrow to give you the update of what happened on day 6 of this trial. And thanks for tapping in with StreetTV.